Today we're going to do a lunch and learn, and we're going to cover the finance department and the cleanup tools that are available. This is a fairly simple presentation we're going to have today. There's not a lot of tools for finance. They're more around the manufacturing and distribution, but for finance, there are a few cool tools that have been added to the Kinetic environment so that you don't have to call Epicor for a one-off or get a fix for something. If you are in the United States of America, we have a country-specific functionality now in the software called 1099s. When Epicor added country-specific functionality for United States, they pulled it out for the others. Great Britain doesn't have to do 1099s. They have to do VAT tax. So the country-specific functionality is truly now specific to which one you're doing. There is also a conversion that needs to be run, and this can now be done from the main menu. So if you're in Epicor and you go down to System Management, I think it's Rebuild Processes, then Finance, you're going to find all of these things that we're going to talk about today underneath that menu. If you don't have access to the menu, we'll need to get that assigned to you or have your system administrator grant you access so that you can run these tools when you run across an error in the software. So our 1099 conversions need to be run when we set up, but that's only for US customers. Anyone in Canada or Mexico, not needed, or overseas. There is a bank statement conversion. So when I have been using the software for 12 years and I never process my bank statements, I'm not going to go back 12 years ago and process every month. There is now a conversion that will go ahead and close out all your old ones so that you can focus just on what's new and what's in my current transaction set. There's a bank tran reporting amounts, and there is a utility we no longer have to run. It used to be a conversion program you would ask your administrator to run, or you would ask Epicor for a one-off, and then you'd hand that to your administrator to have them run that. Token migration and voiding authorizations is now possible with credit card processing. So if I get a token or an authorization, I can now actually void it and it doesn't go through. This recalculate customer credit. Everybody comes to me, oh, when I look at the customer tracket, I see their credit. When I go to customer manager, I see a different credit info. They are not the same, but there is a tool that will recalculate it and put them back in sync. This is similar to anybody that might be familiar with the inventory fix on hand quantity. They would see part tracker would show one thing, stock status would show a different. There is a regenerate tax box tran, so we can reset our tax boxes. This is part of the year-end process. So when you run your year-end process, you shouldn't have to do that. The regenerate tax box tran, I know, was used by a lot of people that use the Avalara add-on to Epicor for sales tax. We can set the customer e-invoice details or defaults. In the past, you had to build your own workaround. You had to build a business activity manager or a customization that would email out your invoices. This is now part of base package. If you have the financials core, you should be able to email these documents using the customer e-invoice feature. There is an area, but this is going to apply for people that are overseas, not so much United States. If we have anyone from outside the country, please go ahead and let me know, either send a message in chat. But this interest stat, you can create the UD codes. This would be like in Germany having to go from one state to the next and tracking the interest stat, or same thing in France. Going between the EU countries, some require reporting of that interest stat. These UD codes are used for creating those interest stat codes that get reported to the government. We don't use them here in the US, so it may not apply to anybody. I can also go in and unlock a bank statement. Finally, once you get a bank statement created, you're working on it and then somebody else locks it up and they're no longer there to reset it. How do you get in there? You can go in and select a bank account and a statement and say, hey, unlock it. I'm going to pick this up and work it myself from here forward. You don't need to go have a one-off fix from Epicor or ask your admin to do it. You can now run this yourself on this menu. And the unlock a batch. So we've all seen it where an AR invoice batch or a cash receipt gets stuck and nobody can get into it, not even the person that created it. There's now a tool to go in and unlock that batch right off the menu. As I mentioned, today's going to be really, really, really simple. I tried to make it a little longer, but there's not a lot of fixes yet for the financial world, but the ones that they've rolled out really apply to almost everybody based on the country you're in. Scott Lepley is saying customer e-invoicing is not part of core AR. Is it part of the financial core? I don't think it was part of the AR module. I thought it was if you went to the financial core system, you got it. If you still have on your maintenance invoice AR, AP, and GL broken out as separate items, you're not part of the financial core. In the financial core, you'll also find you get micro checks, pause pay, ACH. I think Lockbox is also in there. There's a lot more things that they included in the core license. That's just a case of asking your CAM to fix your license over to the new core system in Kinetic rather than the individual pieces like it was in version 9.
From Barry, does the unlock batch include if someone is in it but has left for the day?
Yes, when they come back in, their screen's going to give them a bunch of errors, but you can boot them out.
He says great.
Hey, one person doing the happy dance today. Awesome.
From Scott, I see all of those functionalities that you just mentioned as licensed, but not enabled, simply because we did not have them previously. I'll look again for e-invoicing.
There you go. Go ahead and turn them on, because when the new licenses to the core came out, they didn't turn on everything. Because if you didn't have your 1099s ready, you didn't want to enable that. So you want to have your ducks in a row before you turn the feature on, because it could be a one-way door, something like payroll module. Second you turn payroll module on, you lose employee basic control and labor rates. It then has to be done through the payroll employee. So some of the financials are one-way doors. Just make sure that, I think with all the core Micker, pause pay, check, Micker checks, what was the other, ACH, and lockboxes, you don't have to have those set up to turn the feature on. So you're totally safe there, Scott, in the admin console.
Oh, from Scott, EVT for accounts payable, is that it?
Is that it?
That's
Well,
all.
I'm kind of missing you, Scott. Can we go ahead and unmute Scott?
Thanks. I just meant for the e-invoicing, I see a module EPT for accounts payable. That is
No,
like,
that would be, no, this would be for accounts payable. We need something for cash on AR side.
oh, okay. Well, that one's there as well. EPT
Okay.
for accounts receivable.
That may
I'm
be the
assuming
electronic.
which is different.
I'd have to go take a look at those. What version are you in? 24.1?
No,
24.2?
23.1.
Okay. I will actually go ahead and look at that and get you an answer back, Scott. I'm like, I haven't run across both of them. I thought there was only the e-invoicing for one side. There was a supplier connect where your vendors could send in their invoices, but I
Right.
don't know if that still works with Kinetic.
Okay, great. Thank you.